So I went in on the 19th to get a rapid test, and it came back positive. And as the weekend went on, I just felt worse and worse and worse. And so we called the non-emergency number. They put me in the ambulance, and I came up here, took me over to do a CAT scan. And by the time I got back to my room, I came back to my room and there's like a whole bunch of people standing around. I said, "What's wrong?" And he said that I had the double saddlebag embolism across both my pulmonary arteries and that it was laying on my heart.
Scott, was diagnosed with COVID, and then one of the complications of COVID is forming blood clots. And so he ended up with a rather large blood clot. We call them a saddle pulmonary embolism, where the blood clot covers both sides of the lungs and kind of sits there like a saddle. And we use an ECOS machine. And so what they do is they go into the vein, and they're able to remove part of that blood clot as much as they can. And then they place special catheters into the pulmonary arteries. They vibrate and inject clot-busting medicines.
I think it was about a 2-hour deal or hour-and-a-half deal. And they told me that if I would have stayed home, my wife probably would have come home to a dead man.
Just nice to see with Scott, he had such a good outcome. It's just joyous to see these patients getting better, having good outcomes, and able to go home back to their families and enjoy life after this.
My time up here, it's not something you want to be in the hospital, but they made it very easy for me. Carla would almost be play-by-play to my wife, call her, "This is what Scott's doing. Scott's doing good. Scott's oxygen levels." But Carla was always helping my not only my wife, because then my family, my mom, and everybody got the updates on me. Joy Taylor, my heart doctor, me and her made a diet plan for me, which I'm still on today. The nurses, Ronnie, Stephanie, were the ones I had in the ICU. Very personable people, sit down and laugh, and I thanked them every time they left. "Thank you for your service." Dr. Sajak came up to see me, and he told me, he said, he says, "You're a very, very lucky guy." And he explained, he says, a lot of people don't come out of this. Like, he goes, "I don't know why." He says, the only thing I can say is the good Lord has something else planned for you in your life. And he says, "You don't do tobacco and you don't abuse alcohol." He said, "You know what? Them two things probably saved your life." Because if you was a heavy smoker and drinker, we don't know what you might have been at a funeral today.